Welcome back to Batman at the Movies. This is episode 11, and the time code for this episode is an hour, 19 minutes, and 45 seconds to 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 47 seconds. We open this episode coming back with Batman's first encounter against Scarecrow, and it's not great, to say the least. He loses.
Yes, he does. And we find that Bruce Wayne wakes up after being incapacitated for 2 days.
That's how I looked waking up this morning.
Bruce Wayne looks better than I do every morning. The line from Alfred when he says, "Congratulations, it's your birthday. Many happy returns." That got a laugh in the cinema. I remember that.
It was a good line. It was a funny line. It was a
Yeah.
good delivery from Michael Caine, I will say. It was a very good one.
hmm
He's a silly
How did
boy.
Bruce get into bed?
Alfred carried him like
From the
he,
car,
yep,
up the stairs,
like
along the landing, into the fourth room on the right, took off his bat suit, and put him into bed, did he?
yes, it's probably like that.
Okay. So either that happened or Bruce Wayne had enough mental capacity to get himself up there and pull the suit off before probably collapsing. In the previous episode, Batman got himself onto a rooftop and called Alfred on his Nokia mobile phone. And then it cut to him on the back seat of the car as Alfred was driving him home. So you might wonder, well, how did Batman get from the top of that rooftop to the car? Well, he obviously must have got himself down there, right, and into the back seat of the car. So similarly, he must have been able to get himself from the back seat of the car up into his bedroom. We know later on in the film that Scarecrow gasses Rachel, and he says to one of his goons that he administered a concentrated dose, and the mind can only take so much. And we know from Rachel's actions that she was completely incapacitated. She wasn't able to walk or form any sort of coherent thought. So we have to assume then that when Batman was gassed, he had a milder dose. I guess he learned from his mistake with Batman, and then he decided after that he would administer concentrated doses from now on to ensure there's no possibility that the next time he encounters Batman, that Batman will be able to survive and walk away from it.
Yeah.
Bruce belatedly realizes that Lucius is present.
Yeah, doesn't he like kind of just come out of the shadows or something? Like he
It
was,
feels like that.
but he has good news. There's an antidote to the fear gas.
It's pretty clear, if it wasn't already to Lucius, that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman.
Yeah,
They never acknowledge it, do they, in words that that's who he is. It's obvious, right?
yeah. Lucius has got to know.
Lucius explains what he had to do to help Bruce. And Bruce says, "Am I meant to understand any of that? Is Bruce playing dumb, or does this version of Batman not understand such things?"
Hmm. I don't know.
Well, comic book Batman would understand because comic book Batman knows everything and can do everything. Comic book Batman builds his own Batmobile, he makes all his own gadgets, he's an expert at chemistry and science and forensics and just everything. He just
Yeah,
knows everything. He's 5 steps ahead of everyone else. But, you know, no one's like that, right? That's
e
just too far-fetched
even in the games, he's
for
like
this
that
movie.
too.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
also, because I'm pretty sure in Asylum, he also develops an antidote for the fear gas.
The Arkham games really are the definitive Batman. I think most Batman fans would consider that definitive Batman. That's the Batman you get in the Batman the Animated Series as well from the 90s. Again, that's a sort of definitive Batman, but none of them are realistic enough for this movie. With this version, Bruce Wayne has limits. He's got skills and knowledge in certain areas, but he just doesn't know everything. And he needs allies like Lucius Fox to supply his technology and
Yeah,
to help him out with chemistry problems and things like that.
I kind of like that since this is a more grounded Batman compared
Yeah.
to the other versions. What about you? Do you like it or do you prefer the all-knowing Batman?
Hmm. I think I prefer this version actually. I do prefer a Batman that doesn't know everything and isn't amazing at every single thing. I like that he would have a team, or even if they don't know who he is. So I always imagine that, like with the Batmobile, for example, that Batman wouldn't build his own Batmobile, that he would have a contact and that he would pay this person anonymously and they would build the car for him. And then he would take delivery as Batman. And so the person that's making the car doesn't know who Batman is. He knows he's working for Batman. Maybe Batman saved his life or something in the past, and he sort of feels like he owes Batman because he got him out of trouble or something. That sort of thing, you know. I imagine that Batman had relationships with different people, and he could go to them when he needs their expertise. I like that idea rather than, like I said, the guy that can do everything.
Yeah, for me adds maybe a little more of a human element to him.
Rachel turns up at the manor. She's dropped by to hand deliver Bruce's present.
Hmm.
Rachel seems moved by Bruce's genuine concern for her. I guess up until this point, she's only thought of him as a sort of fool, I guess.
Yeah.
Vapid. In this scene, she seems surprised. She sensed there's some depth there in him that he showed concern for someone or something other than himself. Because she hasn't seen him for 7 years until very recently. I guess she thought he genuinely had changed from the kid that she knew and that he had become this fool. Now she sees a glimpse of something deeper there.
Yeah.
Finders keepers.
Yeah.
That's what she said to him when they were kids. And she found that arrowhead in the garden.
Yeah.
What do you give the man who has everything? A reminder of what's truly important in life, friends and family.
Yeah, it's a nice reminder.
She's saying we're still friends. I mean, the fact she's come all the way out there as well. I imagine that's quite a drive because Bruce Wayne's right on the outskirts of Gotham.
I'd estimate somewhere like a 45-minute drive. Actually, if I'm putting it in the heart of downtown Gotham, I'd probably put it up to an hour.
Bruce dashes off to the Batcave and he says to Alfred, tell them that joke, when Alfred's like, what am I going to tell the guests? They'll be arriving soon. That got a laugh in the cinema as well. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Remember, we complained previously about what we felt was bad humor or misplaced humor when Batman says to the homeless man, nice coat. We kind of felt it didn't belong in this sort of movie, capping off that scene. But this kind of humor here between Bruce and Alfred, this fits very well. It's good that they have this kind of relationship. It's quite a warm relationship, isn't it?
And then here we are with the piano.
Now, I'm thinking that this piano and this entrance, it's the original secret entrance that his great great grandfather built.
Oh, really?
It was he that installed the elevator shaft. So I'm assuming that he also would have installed the concealed entrance behind the bookcase, including the piano to access it.
I like the entrance. It feels very Batman.
We've seen a
Entrance
few
to Batcave.
different entrances in the various films. In 89, we don't actually see the entrance. In Returns, though, he's got a really strange entrance. He puts his hand into a fish tank, presses a button inside a replica model of Wayne Manor, and that opens up a Iron Maiden. And Bruce Wayne steps into the Iron Maiden, it closes around him, and then the spikes on the inside retract, the floor opens up, and he goes down a chute, which leads him into the cave. In Batman Forever, Bruce Wayne arrives in the cave inside a capsule that somehow takes him from his office in Wayne Enterprises and manages to go down through the various floors of his building and then underground beneath the city, all the way out to the cave under Wayne Manor.
Dude.
But we don't see the entrance in Batman Robin, and we don't see it in the Batman either. He just arrives out of an elevator. But that's in his tower, isn't it?
Yeah,
We don't
and
know how he's concealing it. Now, in the comics, though, the traditional comic book entrance is behind a grandfather clock.
yeah.
And what Bruce Wayne does to gain access, he opens up the glass casing and he adjusts the hands on the clock to the exact time that his parents died, which is 10:47.
Yeah, I think I've seen this entrance used a few times in the comics I've read, I believe.
I like that. I think it's my favorite because I do like this idea that every single evening he sets it to the death of his parents. It's really dark.
Yeah, maybe it's a way that he thinks is honoring his parents.
He feels that he's primarily being Batman to prevent what happened to him from happening to another child, to prevent other innocent people from suffering in a way that he did. So it's like a constant reminder for why he does what he does and the promise that he made to his parents.
Yeah, that makes sense as to why he would do that.
Now, this shaft here is a model, and
Oh, really?
yep, you would never know, would you? It looks totally believable.
Yeah, the sets and the models in this movie are very, very good. I mean, they've confused Shenmue. I thought this was a real elevator shaft.
It was built by Nigel Blake. He also built the cathedral model for Batman 1989.
Oh, wow. Very nice models. It's taller than a person. I'm very impressed with this guy's model work.
That's Nigel Blake, and he's standing inside the staircase that he built for the interior of the cathedral, which is what Joker and Vicky Vale and Batman climb in the movie.
Wow, genuinely very impressive sets.
When Joker drops the shoe here, that there is the model, you see. It's
Oh,
that shoe is falling through the model, and then we cut back to the practical set with Batman
wow.
walking up the staircase.
That's awesome. This is really good work. Damn.
Now he tells an interesting story. He said that when he was preparing to build the model for the cathedral and the staircase and everything, he visited the set at Pinewood to take photographs for reference. And he said he walked across the set at the top towards the balcony, and it had the painted backdrop in there of the sky and the city below stretching into the distance. And he's scared of heights, and he said he felt vertigo because the effect was so convincing. He knew that he's on a set and that the set is only, 3 or 4 feet off the ground. But his eyes were telling him that he was hundreds of feet above the ground. It was only when he looked right over and down and he saw that the stage floor was just a few feet below that he felt relief.
Wow. Impressive. Impressive work.
Yeah, from everyone involved. I do like a suit up sequence for Batman. A full Batman Begins suit up sequence. And they've been doing it since the original one with Michael
Yeah.
Keaton. That has a suit up sequence. Returns has one. Forever has one. Batman and Robin has one. Batman Begins has one. I don't think that the new one does, though, does it? The Batman doesn't have a suit up sequence.
It's a shame Matt Reeves hopefully put one in part two.
I hope so. I really do.
It'd bring me so much joy.
Why is Earl firing Lucius?
We were told it was because they're merging his division with archives.
Yep.
That's, but like that doesn't make sense as to why he's being fired. Also, it doesn't make sense why they're merging his division with archives because he's like research. Do you know why?
I'm not sure he actually does anything all that useful anymore because he's been moved down into the basement. If you look in this scene, most of the equipment is covered over with plastic. It's not even being used anymore. I think he's just playing, really, Lucius, each day. He turns up for work and he just plays with his toys, basically. I don't think he's actually contributing to the profits of the company, honestly.
Yeah. Well, also in this scene, we learned the microwave emitter has been taken.
Do you think Earl intends to make Lucius the scapegoat for that?
Maybe that'd be very interesting to see. Because that's what I was feeling a little bit when he fired him. Because it was like, you're firing him after revealing to him that the microwave emitter has been taken.
Lucius says to him, "Isn't that illegal to make a weapon that does that?" And that's when Earl's like, "Yeah, I'm merging departments and I'm firing you." So maybe he's getting fired because he's asking these uncomfortable questions as well. And Earl's just like, "I've had enough of this guy." It's going to come back and bite him, isn't it? Whoever's stolen it is going to use it. It's going to lead back to Wayne Enterprises, and the whole thing's going to blow up in his face. And now you've got someone like Lucius, who, if interviewed by the authorities, is not going to play ball, is he? He's going to be honest. So Earl's
Yeah,
just like, I'm going to get rid of him before he can talk. And maybe he's thinking, I will put all the blame on him.
which is crazy.
He could be like, it was Lucius's department that developed the weapon. I didn't even authorize it. When I
That's
found
true.
out that he'd made such a weapon, I fired him immediately.
It's crazy.
Maybe that's what
Cra
he's doing. Rachel goes to Arkham. What do you think about this version of Arkham?
It's different, certainly. When I think of Arkham Asylum, I think of a more older, run-down building. This one reminds me more of some buildings I have on my college campus, actually.
The exterior here was the National Institute for Medical Research at Mill Hill in northwest London. The building was demolished around 2021 to make way for housing development.
I've seen a few buildings when I visited London that looked like this.
I've seen lots of places that look like this in the UK, not just London. Similar sort of aesthetic.
It's okay looking. I just really like the game version of Arkham Asylum.
So this is the Batman Forever version of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, that's what I more think of when I think of Arkham Asylum,
Yeah,
is like
the
a
gothic.
the gothic aesthetic, definitely run down I inside and outside, and very spooky, ominous building.
Yeah,
That
that looks like
that
a horror film, doesn't it? This.
the Batman Begins Arkham Asylum, it's just like a building you could drive past any day and not even know that was a mental asylum.
So you feel like even in the more realistic confines of Batman Begins, they could have pushed it a bit further.
Yeah,
What do you think of the Batman and Robin version of Arkham Asylum? Because they actually changed it. They're going for the same sort of tone and vibe, but they use a different model for this.
it looks kind of weird. I don't know if I like that one as much. Like the weird jutting gargoyles, they're
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm not a fan.
Interesting. So out of the three, your favorite is the one from Batman Forever.
Yes.
Oh, look, there's the gargoyles though. But with this version, they're less noticeable and they're less ubiquitous.
Well, I still like this one more. I just like the aesthetics
Yeah.
of it more.
Yeah, seeing the gate there with the hanging lantern.
What is your favorite citizen?
Um, I'm gonna go with forever as well.
Great minds think alike is what they're saying.
But you couldn't have done that in this film, though. You couldn't have done that in Batman
Yeah,
Begins.
no.
It wouldn't fit.
Unfortunately.
Like I said, though, I do wonder how far you could have pushed it. Some information about Arkham Asylum from the comics. Arkham Asylum first appeared in Batman issue 258 in October 1974, written by Dennis O'Neil and was then called Arkham Hospital.
Okay.
Arkham Asylum has a long and brutal history, beginning when its architect became mentally unwell, killed several workers with an axe, and was sentenced to life imprisonment in Arkham Asylum.
Bro got sentenced to live where he built.
Arkham's founder, Amadeus Arkham, had previously killed his mother due to her mental illness and suppressed the memory, believing her death to be a suicide.
I actually didn't know that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about Amadeus Arkham, so I
Ah,
didn't
so
know that.
so you didn't collect the audio tapes in the Batman Arkham game then?
I collected some of them. I didn't collect all of them.
The voice actor that did Amadeus Arkham was brilliant in that game.
He was pretty good. I
I
just
mean,
didn't.
everyone was good. Everyone
I
was good.
I just didn't collect them all.
Mm.
I
Now you've
know.
got an incentive to do it now.
It's true.
Later, serial killer Martin Hawkins, also known as Mad Dog, kills Amadeus's wife and daughter.
Damn.
Following this, Amadeus kills Hawkins during electroshock therapy and is committed to Arkham, where he eventually dies.
A lovely guy.
There's some dark history around Arkham.
Wow, it's crazy.
Inside Arkham, Falcone is completely gone,
Yeah.
muttering Scarecrow over and over. Is this only a result of his exposure to Crane's gas when he was being held for psychiatric evaluation? Or do you think Crane's been dosing him ever since? Has Crane been playing with his new toy?
I feel like Crane definitely has been playing with his new toy a little bit. He would do something like this. He would continuously gas someone just for his like sick pleasure.
Well, Falcone said to him earlier in the movie, he said, I know about your experiments in your nut house. I think he's done more to him since that day.
Yeah, he wouldn't forgive himself if he passed up the opportunity.
This is pretty run down and miserable looking inside, isn't it, in the cell here with Falcone?
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty
pretty rough.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Rachel finds it highly suspicious that Carmine would suffer a psychotic break just before being indicted.
Yeah.
But as Jonathan points out, you can't argue with what her eyes and ears are witnessing. Carmine clearly isn't faking.
Rachel, what are you talking about? He's clearly insane.
Now, Crane says that patients suffering delusional episodes often focus their paranoia on an external tormentor, usually one conforming to Jungian archetypes. Do you know anything about Carl Jung?
No.
All right. I looked up a little about him. He lived from 1875 to 1961 and was a pioneering Swiss psychiatrist and a psychotherapist who founded analytical psychology. Jung was once a close collaborator of Sigmund Freud and considered Freud's crown prince and successor. However, their relationship fractured in 1913, primarily because Jung rejected Freud's heavy emphasis on sexual drive as the sole motivator for human behavior, preferring a broader view of psychic energy.
Okay.
A person suffering from persecutory delusions, a severe form of paranoia where the individual believes they are being conspired against, spied on, followed, or poisoned by a specific person, group, or entity. So that is what Crane is saying Falcone is experiencing a sort of persecution delusion. Carl suggests that these delusions often take the form of universal symbolic figures, such as the shadow or a monster, which the mind uses to personify internal fears or perceived external threats.
Okay.
Interestingly, he was one of the first psychologists to treat spiritual experiences as an essential part of mental health. His concept of the hero's journey, which was further developed by Joseph Campbell, is the blueprint for many modern Hollywood movies, such as Star Wars and The Matrix. Jung's belief that a vital spiritual experience was necessary for recovery from addiction directly influenced the founding of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do they start or end each of their meetings with a prayer?
Yeah. I wouldn't know, man. I've never been to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, I've got it here. It's called the Serenity Prayer, and it's recited almost every meeting. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Cole's theories have faced significant opposition from both his contemporaries and modern scientists. Critics argue that concepts like archetypes are so vague and that they can be bent to fit any observation, making them untestable.
All right.
Richard
Okay.
Knoll, a prominent critic, argued that Jung was not a scientist, but a charismatic leader of a neo pagan movement. Modern evidence-based practices, like cognitive behavioral therapy, often ignore Jung because his theories focus on deep, invisible, subjective states rather than measurable behavioral outcomes. Critics point out that Jung categorized non-European cultures as primitive and argued for a racial hierarchy in the collective unconscious.
Yeah, that'll get you some criticism there.
Batman is listening in outside. I like that there's a practical application for the ears in this version, that he's got the microphone installed in there that amplifies sound waves. I don't know how he manages to just hear them speaking louder and not hear everything going on around him.
They might like come up, they might have a microphone somewhere in him and he has something in his ear.
Yeah, actually, this reminds me of a video game that I played, Splinter Cell. I remember in those games that you had a directional microphone and you would have a device that you would literally have to aim like a gun and you would aim it at your target who would be some distance away and that would be how you would amplify the sound. I don't know how Batman's doing it because we don't see it really. I mean, we're only seeing Batman from the neck up, so perhaps he's holding something a little lower out of frame to do that.
We don't need to analyze this for like 20 minutes on how it works.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Did you ever watch Batman Beyond, the animated series?
No.
On that, he puts his fingertips against the glass and he can listen into the room on the other side. Maybe when he puts his fingers against the glass, it changes the bonding between the atoms so that it makes the glass permeable. I don't know what year it is, but it's like decades into the future. So when you're doing future things, it's easier to buy into it.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you do it contemporary like this, you wonder like, oh, I wonder what technology he's using then. Crane says to Rachel, and he's talking about Falcone, outside he was a giant, in here only the mind can grant you power. I think this is Crane's mask slipping a little here because Rachel perceives that Jonathan enjoys exerting power over his patients.
Yeah.
Within the asylum, Crane is God.
Yeah.
He, on the outside, Falcone's the big man, right? He's in charge. He's calling the shots. Crane is like a supplicant to him. But now it's completely reversed. Now Crane has power over life and death.
And he loves that. She picks up so quickly.
I
But
feel like this is Katie Holmes' best acting in the movie, in this scene.
yeah, yeah, it's very good.
Rachel tells Crane that she's gonna have Carmine's blood work checked by her own consultant. As she enters the elevator with Crane, she doesn't notice that he has selected the basement on the control panel.
Yeah.
And you notice when she steps out of the elevator, she has a look like, where the hell am I? This isn't the floor I came in on. And then he's like, I want to show you something. So her suspicions are growing, but she doesn't feel like she's in danger at this point. She just starts to feel a bit uneasy
Yeah.
until he opens the doors and then he says, this is where the medicine is made. And of course, Rachel is getting the heck out of there. But unfortunately, she can't access the lift because you need the key, which Crane has. And she gets a concentrated dose of Scarecrow's fear toxin.
I really like that the stitches even turned into maggots. I'm assuming it's a CGI effect, of course, but
Yeah. They did experiment with different masks when they were in pre-production.
okay.
Some of them looked more like a gas mask, almost like a World War One gas mask with a big filter on the front of it. I remember one drawing where the mouth opening almost looked like a sort of, in Silence of the Lambs, the mask they put on Hannibal when they're
Yeah.
transporting him, and it has that. It's almost like a cage type thing with the look like bars across the front, like a grill. There's even one that kind of looks like that.
Me personally, I really like the burlap sack because I mean, all the times I've seen Scarecrow, he's wearing a burlap sack kind of thing. Like in the Arkham games, he has
Yeah,
that. In
yeah.
this,
I like the sack. I I would have liked a scene at some point in the movie where he goes full Scarecrow in appearance, like the full outfit, like the hat, the pitchfork, the whole deal. And I feel like there was a place for it because he later gets gassed, doesn't he? And he literally goes insane. And I
yeah.
feel like that's the point where, well, if the guy is completely crazy, I could see him like grabbing some other things and just he turns up at the end and he just looks like completely out there with the hat and everything, and the full scarecrow outfit or whatever, or some kind of creepy outfit.
Yeah, definitely. It would be interesting to see.
Rachel sees maggots, and traditionally in other Batman media, when Crane doses his victims, they tend to experience their worst fears. So Batman, it's often he sees his parents. He either sees his parents being murdered again, or he experiences visions of his father or mother voicing their disappointment in him, which is Batman's worst fear. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're doing that in this version, really, because Falcone, he kind of saw the maggot thing, didn't he, as well, I think? But it was such a quick scene. I mean, when I watched the scene with Shenmue, he didn't even notice it. It was that quick. When Batman got gassed, he saw bats, which we know is a fear of Batman's. But Rachel's now seeing maggots. So it's like, is that her deepest fear? Maggots? Or is this version just not doing that? It doesn't want to go in that direction of like deep into the psychology. When I did the episode with Shenmue, we sort of felt it was a bit of a missed opportunity that we didn't get these sort of nightmare visions of seeing like what these people really fear.
Yeah, because you don't really think of maggots being a very common fear. I mean, sure, it's gross and disgusting, but I don't think I've ever met someone who's like I'm actively afraid of.
Because me and Shenmue, we were thinking like, like in the old Nightmare on Elm Street movies, when they were asleep and you go into the dream world, the rules of reality are completely broken at that point, right? And you can do anything. They have the opportunity with the Scarecrow character to do the same thing when they're under the gas.
Definitely.
Shenmue and I, we kind of felt like this character is underutilized. We're totally happy with what's there. We just want more.
Yeah, totally. I feel they could have gotten a little crazier with it. I guess we'll just have to settle with the maggots for now.
I mean, it is cool though. Does look good.
It does look good.
When the lights suddenly go out and Crane pulls off his mask, to me, he seems excited by the Batman's presence.
Yeah, he said it so like jolly. Like he had such a jolly tone in his voice.
Yeah, I think he respects the Batman's game. It's sort of like one master of fear appreciating another's.
Ah, the
Everyone else there is like, oh no. And he's like, oh, it's the Batman.
She's like it's like a kid seeing Santa.
And then Crane orders one of his men to call the police. It says at this point they can't stop us. I take from that that the corruption is so deep at this point that Crane doesn't fear their interference with his interests. Only the Batman poses a significant threat to his operation.
Yeah.
I think when I first saw the movie, I thought he meant by that the compound's already in the water supply. It's too late now. They can't stop us. But they could still stop him if they physically arrest him. Yes, they can't stop Raish, but Crane would care about himself. He wants to get rich out of this and he wants to be free and he wants to benefit from seeing this happen. So if he was arrested and in jail, that would not be something he desires. There's so many people that are bent in that system that he's kind of bulletproof.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Now, when Batman does strike, what's your thoughts on that?
Shooting someone in the foot is an interesting move.
Yeah,
Batman's whole thing is like not using guns and then he shoots someone in the foot.
it is interesting because this version doesn't believe in killing, and he also has an aversion to guns.
Yeah.
I guess this version's okay with using a gun in a non-lethal manner in extreme situations.
It's still very interesting.
But for me, this thing, I don't like the editing and I don't like how dark the scene is lit. When we watched the dock scene and Batman was taking out Falcone's men, we both agreed that that was appropriate because it was the very first time we see Batman as an audience, and we're viewing it through their eyes in a way. So we're experiencing it how they would, the confusion of it, the speed of it, and we felt that was appropriate. But now we're seeing Batman act for the second time in an action scene. I feel like as an audience member at this point, I would like to appreciate the action more and get more of a look at Batman in action. And so I wish that it was lit better so I could see more. And I wish the editing wasn't so fast and abrupt.
It's like Saw movie or Snatch editing.
I can't help but compare it to the Batman. And in that movie, it's a nice, realistic version of Batman. But Matt Reeves does let us appreciate the action. For instance, the scene where Batman goes into the nightclub
Yeah.
and you can see him fighting those guys. You get to appreciate the action. It still looks real, it looks visceral, but you can see it. You can appreciate it more. Even though it's dark, it's lit light enough so you can see it. And so I kind of wish that we had it more like that in this scene here, just so we could see more of Batman doing his thing.
Yeah.
I
It'd
do
be
like the bit here though where Batman just flies up like that with the guy. That's really cool. I've got a really good television and sound system. I'm probably seeing it better than most, but I can't imagine what this must be like if you're watching this on a less than great, like if you're not watching this in on an OLED and you've not got everything calibrated properly. It probably is so dark, you probably can't see much of anything.
yeah.
Crane's an opportunist. We see him waiting in the shadows until he perceives his moment to strike. Similar to Batman, really, I thought.
Yeah.
It's almost like they have a similar modus operandi. Batman, he'll crouch in the shadows and he'll survey the scene and he'll wait for the right moment and then he'll strike fast, right? And then he'll employ a terror tactic. Crane's kind of similar in a weird way. He's waiting in the shadow there. He thinks he sees his moment and then he strikes and then he employs his terror tactic. We think Crane appreciates Batman. They're kind of like two sides of the same coin in a way.
Yeah. I like the parallels between the two.
Crane fails in his attempt to gas Batman for a second time, and he ends up getting a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, and then the like face they do for Batman.
Yeah,
Uh
look at that. That's really cool, isn't it?
yeah, that's the face they use when you do a fear takedown
The video game.
in the video games.
Did you know that Bale actually wore a practical costume for this scene?
I can see that.
And it was later enhanced with CG.
That's really cool looking. I actually think maybe they should have kept it not enhanced at all.
Really? Because I think the enhancement works. Because it's got like the black goo coming out of his mouth, a bit like the penguin in Batman
Yeah.
Returns. I really love the look of Batman here when we see him as the monster. So much so that I kind of wish Batman looked more like this all the time. We can't have the black goo coming out of his mouth all the time and the black teeth and everything, but if he could make his cowl look more like this, like more terrifying,
Yeah.
if you put your hand up to the screen and you just sort of cover up the bottom part of the face there, just beneath the nose, what do you think?
I think so. Yeah, it'd be cool.
But I'm also kind of reminded of Batman Beyond because in Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis's suit, it's a full black face mask. I don't know how it's supposed to work in the real world because it literally covers his mouth like right up to his lips. And he's still able to open his mouth and talk and stuff, but that's a cartoon. When Batman's finished with Crane, I do love this brutal efficiency that we see from Batman here as he slams Jonathan's head against the wall. I'm done with you now. You see
Yeah,
her
yeah,
face when he picks her up?
she looks very disoriented.
Yeah, she's just like gone. She's like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
I like that.
Huh?
She's very good at that. Batman storms out with Rachel. This scene was one of the scenes that really stood out to me when I first saw this movie that made me think, wow, we're really in the real world. Now, that might seem odd for me to say that because the whole movie's been pretty grounded, right? I don't know what it is about this scene, but when you see all the police there and then in a minute the SWAT turn up and everything, I was like, wow, this feels like a really contemporary, like realistic depiction of Batman. It really
Yeah.
sort of hit home more for some reason. The police in the other movies, the previous four, they seemed completely inept as well, completely unable to deal with the most basic crime. You know, like in Batman Returns, when those circus freaks turn up, Gordon is immediately like, call Batman. They were just completely overwhelmed by a handful of circus freaks. We're talking like a dozen circus freaks running around Gotham Plaza, and they were like, we're out of our depth here, boys. Better call in the big guns. Whereas in
Yeah.
this movie, the police are on it, and then there's like a whole SWAT team coming in. Gordon going in alone.
Very bold of him.
I'm wondering if he's afraid that Batman's trapped. And does he think that Batman's going to get himself killed? And Is he hoping to talk him into surrendering peacefully, perhaps?
Maybe.
Maybe he thinks I can try and help get Batman out of this, like mediate something. Although Gordon thinks Batman's a good guy doing the right thing, I think Gordon at this point doesn't know how capable Batman is. And perhaps he thinks that Batman is out of his depth in this situation. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, that would make sense.
SWAT arrives.
Well, yeah, the Batman is pretty much a terrorist in the Gotham Police Department's eyes.
Yeah, I don't think they're going in there with any intention other than to shoot on sight. This is interesting. Batman grabs Gordon, yanks him up. Here's some Rachel acting. Look, she's catatonic there.
Yeah. She's like really good at it.
Yeah, she's just really good at that.
Yeah.
Now, that
Like a
is straight from Batman Year One, because Batman does the exact same thing. He has a device just like that in the heel of his boat that draws all the bats to him, and they aid him in his escape when the police and the SWAT are after him in that book as well. Back up. I love Flash's reaction as well
yeah.
when the bats turn up and he
Oh,
dives to the
what?
floor. It's great. Now, would bats really blast through glass windows like that? I guess they would, because birds have been known to do it,
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
they?
I was gonna say birds have been known to do that. With the amount of them here too,
Yeah. I mean, they're absolutely being driven insane. They've got this overwhelming urge that's drawing them to this emitter that the Batman's got.
this drop is so cool.
When Batman falls down this stairwell, the CG effects house that was working on this movie, they wanted to prove themselves to Nolan that they were capable of pulling off the job of what was required of them. So what they did is they replicated this scene in CGI. So they created a CGI Batman and they replicated this scene like for like. And they showed Nolan on a monitor the two different versions. One was the actual Christian Bale that did the stunt on the day, and then the other was the CGI recreation. And they tested Nolan. They were like, can you tell which one's CG and which one is fake? And Nolan could actually spot the difference.
Oh wow.
Now, I'm going to put you to the test, Coop, and we're going to see if you can spot the difference. Okay?
Okay.
So we got A version and B version.
I'm gonna watch the left twice and then watch the I I can't tell, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just throw out B.
So which one are you saying is fake? B, or is B the one you're
B,
saying is correct?
B is the fake one.
Okay.
Uh, I can't tell.
So unfortunately, the bonus features on the movie were recorded in standard definition. The source image is poor anyway, and then you've got YouTube compression add into that as well. So I can't get a better version. But I watched this directly off of my television and I couldn't tell the difference.
Okay. So which one's the real one and which one's the fake one?
That's the funny thing. I forgot to write down which was the correct answer.
Oh my God. Citizen. It's really impressive that Nolan was able to tell the difference. He must have a really trained eye then.
Yeah. Batman jogging down the corridor in Arkham. I remember that back in the day after this movie released, on the forums online, this is back in the days of dial-up for me, the Batman fans were speculating that the Joker could be in one of these cells here. I remember someone even said that this guy could be the Joker.
Interesting.
Yeah, which obviously he's not, and he couldn't be because whoever he is, They wouldn't have had the foresight to cast the Joker this early, you know. But and Nolan always maintained that he never intended to do a sequel, but he decided to do a sequel later on. He didn't make the decision ahead of time, like when he was doing Batman Begins. But it is an interesting theory that, you know, at the end of the movie, when the League releases all the Arkham inmates and they spread out into the Narrows, and then there's the scene where Batman's gliding over the Narrows and the population is under the effects of the fear gas, and they look up and they see Batman and he looks like this fiery demon. And I did think to myself, what if one of the inmates was the Joker? That would be an interesting thing to follow up in the sequel because we know at the end of this movie that the Joker's suddenly turned up, right? And I thought to myself, that's really interesting that the Joker appears right following Batman's arrival. In my mind, I was like, it's got to be more than just a coincidence. It's got to be more than just someone being inspired sort of generally by Batman. Maybe you've got this crazy person in Arkham, already a lunatic, a violent criminal, and then he gets busted out and he's on the loose. Then he gets gassed, and that drives him even crazier. And then, under the effects of the gas, he sees a demonic Batman, and then he develops a fixation on Batman. And that could be what essentially creates the Joker.
That would be a good one. That's like really good.
These holes in Batman's glove, what do you think they're there for?
Hmm. They're interesting. I don't know what they'd be for though. I actually don't have a th thought on what these could be for right now, so I'm going to turn the question over to you.
I think that they're there for cooling, to let a bit of air into the glove. I imagine it's super sweaty wearing that outfit and those gloves. I think practically that's why they're there.
Absolutely. They need to put those in Halloween costumes. I don't know what you dressed up as a kid, 'cause
Halloween isn't a major holiday for us. We don't observe the way you guys do. Children don't really dress up or go trick or treating. Although I have seen it recently in my village in the last few years, but it's still quite uncommon to do that.
shucks, so you never got to experience the fun of buying a bundled costume that'll leave you sweating by the end of the night? Oh
Well, I
man.
did have costumes as a kid. I had a Spider-Man costume.
Hell
I
yes.
I remember I wouldn't take it off. My mother was just like, "You've got to take it off so I can wash it." And I was like, "No." And like eventually she managed to pry it off of me, but yeah, I just wanted to wear it all the time, night and day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, if it is practical, I feel like they should have changed out the glove for this insert shot here of Batman holding the explosive for the hero
Okay.
shot, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for the close up.
Yeah. Because think about it, right? If those holes there are just for cooling, when he's touching things, contaminants can get in, right? And form contact with his skin. So I would imagine Batman wouldn't want that with some of the things he comes into contact with. But I was thinking perhaps, and I do not believe that this was the intention at all with the filmmakers, but what if we say in our sort of head canon that those holes there, there's a contact that causes the electrical current for the glider to go rigid?
Oh, okay. So that would make sense.
What do you think these two guys are thinking when Batman storms through their cell there?
What
They look,
the hell?
I think they're so heavily medicated. They're probably looking at each other thinking, did you see that as well? Or am I hallucinating again, as usual? And you realize that
What?
Batman's just let them out of Arkham as well, because he's blown a hole in the side of their wall leading to the alley outside, I think.
Yeah.
So those guys are probably going on to rape and murder someone that evening. But let's swiftly move on.
All right.
Let's not dwell. Meanwhile, Gordon's made his way to the alley and met Batman. He hands over Rachel,
Yeah.
the Batmobile.
Hell yes.
Now,
What's my favorite Batmobile is your question.
okay, what is your favorite Batmobile?
Okay. I'm just gonna have to say this one. I mean, this was my first intro to Batman. So I guess maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia speaking.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't particularly hate any of them. Some of them look a little goofy.
For me, the 89 is my favorite, and Shenmue, his favorite is the one from the Batman.
Yeah, I will say I do like the Bat bike from the Batman. I really like that.
Yeah,
I didn't know if we were counting that or not.
no,
Okay, because that's a bike.
yep.
But that one's really cool. I really like that one too.
I like that all three of us have a different pick. We all like a different car.
Yeah.
But I do like this one a lot. When I was talking to Shenmue, me and Shenmue initially did not care much for this vehicle because it was such a departure from what we were used to.
Yeah, like the
But
elongated car from
well, when we saw this, we were just like, that ain't a Batmobile. Like, that doesn't look like a Batmobile. That was our reaction. We thought it looked sort of Frankenstein like, this thing sort of big tractor tires on the back, and they look like Formula One, like wheels on the front. Like, we'd be like, what is that? You know? But over the years, our appreciation has grown for this car, and I've gone from loathing it to tolerating it to liking it, and now I love it. That has changed over 20 years. So now it's up there among the best for me.
you went through like the 5 stages of grief over this Batmobile.
Yeah, well, I went beyond acceptance to love, though.
That's true. You added the sixth stage.
When the Batmobile here charges forward and it just crushes over this car here.
Yeah.
Now, look at that. That to me looks like those officers in there are dead. They
They're
have
not
just been
surviving that.
crushed to death, right?
Yes, Batman and his no killing rule.
Now look at
Murder.
the room he's got on the left as well. He did not need to crush over that police car either. He could have just passed them.
Batman hates the police confirmed.
Yeah.
That's why he did it.
Batman's like, defund the police.
Man.
When you look at that scene there, you think they're dead, right? Batman's just straight up murdered those guys, right? He came straight at them. He didn't like they weren't blocking his way. It's like no, he aimed for them, right? If you're pausing it like this, right? But then
There's just so much space.
and
He
he
just
doesn't
dis
even stop to like check if they're okay. Like you guys alive? No, he's off. He don't even look back.
screw
It's a
you
hit and
guys.
run. Yeah. But then immediately afterwards, look, they're alive. This reminds me of Saturday morning cartoons. You would see the bad guys fall out of helicopters, out of aeroplanes, off of cliffs, but there'd always be a brief scene afterwards showing that there was a body of water beneath them and they'd somehow survived. And it'd just be a way of the cartoon saying, it's okay, kids, no one died. This does not look like what we just saw in that previous clip where that car looked completely crushed.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I am glad that they do this though, because it is nice as a Batman fan to get the confirmation that yes, they are indeed alive and then they haven't been murdered by Batman.
Yeah, Batman isn't evil. He's not just running over cops for fun. I love their look of like pure shock on their face of what they've just seen as well.
I also love that it shows you the power of this Batmobile. You can't block Batman in. He will just demolish what's ever in his way with this thing.
Yeah, most definitely. It's crazy.
This is cool. Seeing the Batmobile race down a major American city and a chopper flying low across its path. This just didn't happen in the old movies, you know. They were so set bound.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It really is amazing to see this. Now, this car park here with the spiral ramp,
This reminds me so much of Arkham Knight. In that game, you're pretty much only in the Batmobile. And I'm pretty sure you go up a spiral um
yes, I
thing
I
like
remember
this.
now, right?
S-
Yeah,
Yeah, so this reminds me a lot of Arkham Knight and the frustration I had with that
trying to
jump.
keep the Batmobile on the thing
Yeah,
without going off the edge. Yep.
yes, that was terrible. Oh, bad memory. I really did not like that game when I played it.
The Batmobile's parts are the worst parts of the game, and yet they're so prolific.
It's like the whole game. The whole game, you're bound to the Batmobile.
To me, it doesn't even feel like the Batmobile. It literally feels like a tank, you know, like
It,
firing its rockets, its endless supply of rockets, endless supply of minigun artillery, like it's endless
yeah,
supply of tanks. It's like, what is this? This is not Batman, you know?
it was a shame.
Yeah. This car park here, it's the Randolph and Wells parking garage. You would call it the garage, right?
Yeah.
And it features again in The Dark Knight at the beginning of that movie when the Scarecrow reappears and he's trying to do a deal at the back of a white van, and Batman turns up and he arrests those imposter Batmen and gets attacked by a dog. There's a bit where Batman like looks over the edge, jumps off and lands on the roof of the truck that's fleeing. That is this car park. It's the exact same location.
Okay.
Now, you see those flaps there reconfiguring?
Yes.
The idea behind that is that it actually makes the vehicle more aerodynamic. In this case, it's gonna create lift. Batman's about to go into a rampless jump.
I can see that. I can see that. That makes sense.
You buy it, do you? That like
I
move, just reconfiguring these flaps would
I
actually
mean,
create cause such a huge, enormous vehicle to get lift.
I don't buy the physics of it,
Okay.
but like it makes sense as to why they would design it like that and have the reasoning for that. I mean, obviously it's not going to work.
And the gun well here, I'm calling it a gun well. I don't know what the official name is, where it goes down into the front center part of the vehicle. It feels kind of pointless.
It feels like something he'd do to detach into like a bike.
Yes, but I don't think that was even a twinkle in Nolan's eye at this point when he was making this movie. I mean, why does he need to go into a gun well to fire some missiles? Why can't he just fire them from his normal seated position?
It doesn't make much sense, does it? Now that we like critically think of it.
The seat is supposed to be sort of gyroscopically balanced, so, but again, you could do that with normal seats if you wanted to, I guess. When he jumps across the gorge through the waterfall into the Batcave, he's not in the gunwale for that. He's in his normal seating position again. So he doesn't need to be in there to make jumps either. So I just wonder what the advantage of it is really. But it's fine, but it just kind of feels a bit pointless, you know?
Yeah.
A staple of all Batmobiles, apart from the one in Batman and Robin, the rear booster, the exhaust, the flame exhaust, that's been there since the 60s. I think it was the 60s show that introduced that. It's become a staple of the vehicles for the most part.
They even translate them into the Arkham games. Sorry, I just love the Arkham games so much. Just gotta always mention them when I can.
I like that bit there. Just that little bit where he's like skidding and he's taking out the fence on the roof and he comes so close to going off. It's really cool. and now flying on rooftops. Is that a church?
I don't know. 'Cause is that a TV antenna right there?
Or is it a church that's been converted into housing?
Maybe. It looks like maybe a library or something.
Surprised that roof can take the weight of the Batmobile, are you?
Yeah.
I think that's probably wood, right, under those slates.
Yeah. Once he hits that roof, he's going through that. Like in real life, he would straight drop through that roof.
How many tons does this Batmobile weigh?
2.5 tons. Like that downward force applied on it, like
Yeah.
of a giant car.
A tank landing on the
Yes, yeah.
roof. Yeah. Isn't this the same underpass that's also in The Dark Knight when the Joker's in that truck with the rocket launcher?
I
Do you remember?
believe it is.
And he
Yeah,
fires the rocket, and Batman intercepts the rocket using the Batmobile as a shield.
I believe so. It looks like it.
Okay. Are they walking away from that coupe?
Not without a little injury.
Are you
The,
surprised that Batman would drop mines onto the road
I
like
actually
that?
kind of am.
Even if those police officers survived, Batman couldn't possibly know that they would, right, when he dropped those mines.
Yeah.
He must have thought there's a good chance that this is going to cause lethal injury to police officers. Unlike the previous scene where we saw the two police officers completely unharmed, with this, we don't know, right? We don't know the fate of these officers.
They're definitely concussed,
Little boo
but
boo.
yeah, a little kiss will save them.
Stealth mode. Now, what do you think's involved in stealth mode on this Batmobile? Is it just Batman turning off the exterior lights?
Yeah, yeah. Which famously puts your car into stealth mode, don't you know? You should try it out on the road.
The sound effect changes as well, so it sounds like perhaps it switches over to electric. The big roaring engine cuts off for a quieter drive. Do you believe it?
No.
I'm gonna believe that it did confuse them, at least long enough for him to slip away. He goes into stealth mode and he immediately drops back. Even if they're looking in their rear mirrors, they can't see him. I think it could work for a few seconds, right? Just for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And it does only work for a few seconds, right? Because within seconds they reacquire him.
Yeah. Okay.
I do love this bit where the Batmobile breaks through that concrete wall because, again, it's demonstrating the tank-like properties of this Batmobile, that nothing can stop it. Because it really sells the idea that Batman can get away if he needs to, you know? Like, I think about Batman Returns, and there's that scene where he ends up going down a road where there's like a narrow alley at the end of it, and his Batmobile can't fit, and he basically has to like detach huge parts of the vehicle until it becomes sort of like a bullet-shaped thing that just manages to squeeze through the alley. But he loses most of the Batmobile because of it. Ever since I saw it as a kid, I've always disliked the scene because I hate the fact that Batman has to literally say goodbye to the Batmobile, basically, just to make his escape. I wish that the Batmobile was able to get out of there without losing half of itself. Imagine if that Batmobile had just plowed through those houses, because this one looks like it could have done it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Now, would it surprise you to know that this bit here, where you see the Batmobile passing up
Is it a set?
this is a model of the Batmobile.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Isn't that
Wow.
amazing?
Yeah, lots of good work.
The dirt track, everything. It's all to scale. The Batmobile racing along there and then making the jump over the chasm and everything. That's all done by the model. It's completely convincing.
Yeah.
the model makers, they always say like the bigger the model, the better the effect because you can put more detail on it. And then if you've got things like water, for example, doing water on film in models, it always looks fake because the water doesn't scale. It's not granular enough. The water droplets are too big to look convincing. So obviously, the bigger the model, the more the water effect will pass as well.
Really good model. I thought you were gonna say it was a set,
And that
but
Christian Bale made the jump himself. Rachel! What do you think about the entrance to the Batcave? That it's a waterfall that goes over a chasm.
that's one of the like standard Bat Cave entrances I think of when I think of Bat Cave entrances. It's like the waterfall.
This waterfall with a chasm, it only works for this particular Batmobile because none of the others could have made the jump, I think.
Probably not.
Because this is literally designed to do that specific task, isn't it? It's a bridging vehicle.
Yeah.
Interesting way the cockpit opens up there. Almost like origami or the petals of a flower. It's quite intricate. Again, it's so quick. They don't even show the full effect, do they? Because they cut mid reveal.
Yeah, the Saw editing strikes again. This is the antidote.
So that brings us to the end of our episode.
All right. It's been a good discussion.
A
Really enjoyed
lot
this
of
episode.
a lot of great highlights. A lot of great parts of the movie were in this episode. And I'm willing to say, in my humble opinion, that this film contains the best Batmobile chase put on film thus far.
Okay.
Would you agree with that,
Uh,
or
I'll
are
have to
able
agree.
to? Yeah, you agree?
I'll agree. It's a good chase. It's a
We've
really
had
good
a lot
chase.
of good chases in the Batman movies, but for me, this is the best so far.
I can see it.
It'd be hard for someone to top this, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.